Welcome to Stage Mom Podcast, a podcast for breakthrough bands and artists. Today we have Corvallis. Corvallis is a post-rock band out of Port St. Lucie, Florida. I sat down with Matt, the creator of Corvallis, and I really enjoyed it. This guy has had quite the journey. Living all over the United States, he has had some incredible experiences that most of you bands would love to have while living in Nashville. Deciding a year ago to settle down in Port St. Lucie near family with his wife and children, he's now focusing on his album, which should be out in July, and playing gigs wherever he can. Don't let this one pass you by. Make sure you go follow him right away so you can check him out when he is playing near you. Corvallis?
Corvallis, yep. So Corvallis is a city in Oregon that I was born in. So I had been using that for a while before like putting stuff out and all that, but I didn't like trademark it or anything like that. I was just sort of putting stuff out before Spotify, and so once I wanted to put stuff on Spotify, there were a couple other like Corvallises on there, so yeah, I thought it was like super unique and like a cool name, and so I added a little underscore to Corvallis. So I've got that on Instagram and Spotify and stuff like that. And my idea was, it's super nerdy, but the idea was kind of like in coding when you have like a header and then like a subheader, basically like a a description or a version of something larger. I kind of thought of Corvallis as like the idea of, if I want to do other music things, I can do, this is the Corvallis project, or this is the underscore something other. So yeah, I kind of tried to make it work. Yes, I was born there and then moved to Boise, Idaho when I was 6, and then lived there for a while. Went to school in Colorado, then Ohio, then lived in Nashville for 10 years, and then moved down here.
Okay. What brought you down here?
My wife and her family is from here, so she was born and raised in the Port St. Lucie area, and I met her in college in Colorado.
So did she go over to Nashville with you? And then?
Yeah, she did. Yeah. So we met in Colorado, and then we transferred schools to Ohio together, and then moved down to Nashville to do the music thing down there, and then eventually, once we had a couple kids, we started moving down here. So.
Does your wife do music as well?
No, she doesn't. She's an accountant. She enjoys music, and like she enjoys seeing shows and listening to music and stuff like that, but she's never played an instrument or anything like that. I have 2. I have a 4-year-old boy and a 18-month-old daughter. So yeah, they're a blast. Oh, it's incredible. I had no idea that was like something that was in me. Like it was like a switch. Like all of a sudden you have a kid and it kind of looks like you and kind of looks like your significant other, like, and it's just, you see like yourself in them, you see your partner in them. Like it's an incredible experience, and like you just instantly have that like parental love that I think my parents talked about all the time. Just like I would, jump in front of a train for you, and I was like, as soon as I saw them, I'm like, yep, I barely know you, and yeah, I'd do that.
It's incredible. My husband, it was so funny when I was pregnant. I have a 20-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
When I was pregnant with the 10-year-old, the 20-year-old's from a previous marriage,
mm-hmm.
but my husband was like obsessed with our dog.
Yeah,
and he was like, oh, I can't imagine loving anything more than I love Sammy. And Mom always told him, he was sweet.
Yeah.
So he was bawling his eyes out, holding.
Yeah, exactly. Did you forget about someone? Yeah, that's amazing. Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
What type of music are you doing? If someone had never heard of you, what do they expect from you?
So that's something I've always had a hard time kind of like putting my finger on, because I listened to so much music growing up and played lots of different kinds of music. And I mean, I grew up during like the MySpace era with all the emo stuff, and so I've got that, and then I've also been super into like soundtrack kind of stuff, like Danny Elfman kind of stuff, and so I've kind of throughout the years I've always been drawn to like post rock stuff, so instrumental stuff like Explosions in the Sky or This Will Destroy You or Caspian or any of those guys, and so when I moved down here, I was playing in a few bands in Nashville, and then every one of them sort of slowly dropped off the map. Like, everybody's getting older, everybody's got families, like, nobody wants to, like, take the time to practice and play shows and that time commitment and stuff. And so when I got down here, I was like, I don't know any musicians down here. I don't know what the music scene is, so I'm just going to try and challenge myself to record an album myself. And so what I did was I used friends that I had played with over the years of, I had a drummer in Ohio that I had played with and a drummer in Nashville. And so I just sort of wrote some like basic demos and songs like that and sent them over, and then they would send me their drums back. And then I would add bass and more guitar stuff. And then I actually used GarageBand on my phone for all the synth stuff. Mm-hmm. And so, it's just been kind of like just flying by the seat of my pants, seeing what inspiration comes out. So, it's just kind of instrumental post-rock, but it's a little heavier than most post-rock, but it's not as ambient as some other stuff. So it's kind of somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So while you were talking, I noticed I didn't have my microphone on.
Oh, no.
But I talk loud enough, so I'm hoping that your mic picked up everything I was saying. If not, I always have those stupid transcripts I was just complaining about.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so anyhow, so you've lived many different places. Mm-hmm. Has your style and music changed according to where you live?
Kind of. I think in Ohio we were, it was just kind of like Foo Fighters-esque kind of music. And then we got to Nashville, when you're around all of like the country music and all of like the different iterations of country music, it kind of translated to, everything's just got kind of a tinge of country to it. And so it kind of evolved where I sort of learned how to play that style, learned how to kind of pack that away. And then when I was doing my own stuff, it was nice having kind of the freedom down here in Florida, where when I started going to shows and hearing people, it was like there were no genre rules down here.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there's definitely like genre rules in Nashville that's very much like singer-songwriter, like straightforward stuff. There's bands like Kings of Leon that have come from Nashville, but like got their break over in London and stuff like that. And so trying to sort of find my place in Nashville was tough with musically. I'd always played with people but never done my own thing, and so coming down here I was like, if there's no rules, I need to like try and do something with this music down here.
Right. Yeah, there really isn't. And everybody really, like, I've noticed that they all support each other so much.
It's amazing.
It's like, I'm doing an event in 2 weeks. We've got very, very heavy nu metal. Mm-hmm. I've got folk.
Yeah.
I've got Latin. Mm-hmm. I've got almost like a Rage Against the Machine type of, like, so many different genres. And I guarantee everybody's going to be there to support each other.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I love seeing it. So, okay. Who do you feel is like your biggest inspiration for what you're putting out?
I would say, so I, like, a few months ago, I hadn't really, like, listened to shoegaze before. Mm-hmm. And so a few months ago, I started listening to more, like, shoegaze. I actually recently went to a show up in Orlando with Thrice and a band called Holy Fawn up there. They're, like, super heavy shoegaze, and I realized that I feel like I was playing this music without realizing I was doing it. I was just, like, to me, it was, you know, this collection of different ideas I had, and then to hear that, I was like, oh, I think it actually kind of fits in this genre of music. You know, I just really like anything that is, like, develops emotion. Mm-hmm. And especially with instrumental music, trying to sort of paint a picture of, you know, taking someone who's listening to the song kind of on a journey of, you know, we're low here and then we're high here. And then you kind of build and drop stuff out. Trying to just sort of create music that inspires other things as well. So if there's, you know, if people have like a cool, like, ambient video they're trying to make, like this would be a cool soundtrack for
Right.
it. Or if somebody's like on a road trip or wants to, just sort of like turn their headphones at full volume on an airplane or something like that. Like I want it to sort of capture whatever moment people enter, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you said 9 of 10 songs out? Is that
Yes, okay. I got the mastering done yesterday at Raincat.
Awesome.
Up in Port St. Lucie, and we got 3 of them done, and so there were just a couple changes I needed to make to one of them, and we were getting some weird noises and certain frequencies, and so I've been kind of sending them back and forth with Jeff.
Right.
Like since I'm new at mixing and recording and stuff like that, I'm like, hey, does this work, or does this, like, do I need to change something? And he's been super helpful about like helping me out with knowing where to pull stuff from, or like bring stuff up or down or anything like that. So it's been awesome.
So, all right, where do you do your recordings? Do you go to a studio, or do you do them yourself at home?
It's all myself at home.
Nice.
So I got it's like a Line 6 Podgo is what it's called, which has all your pedals and amps in it. And so I don't have to worry about different microphones and mic and an amp, and I can do it while my kids are sleeping, or like while my wife's working right next to me or anything like that.
And especially as an accountant, I'm sure she has to concentrate.
Oh yeah, exactly. There's definitely times I've been kicked out. Like I can't,
I'm sure.
I can't listen to your strings anymore. I know it sounds good in your headphones, but I can't listen to that anymore.
That's so funny. Sounds good in your head. Okay, but when you got to Florida, like, how did you seek out like everybody that you needed to do what you needed to do? Did you just go to like the bars, find different bands, meet different people that way?
Yeah, so I started off by doing open mic stuff at Terra Firmata down in Stewart.
Okay.
And then for the past few years, we've been coming down every Christmas, and there's this amazing coffee shop in Stewart called Roasted Record.
Okay.
Really great people there, like really good, like people that come in there and stuff like that. And so they started doing an open mic night. There's a band called Sandman Sleeps up there that Chris and Alex are the ones that put that on. And so that just became like a really good, I mean, as soon as they put out the sign up sheet, like it's completely full.
Right.
Like everybody wants to play, everyone wants to like listen to each other. And so doing that, I was able to find other musicians. I actually started playing with a guy named Mike Botley in a band called Mango Salesman.
Oh, wow.
Doing like bass stuff for him.
Mango Salesman. I love that name.
It was perfect. And it was something that he had throughout the years, and like eventually when he started playing music. And so we started doing shows together, and initially I wanted Corvallis just to be kind of like a digital only project where it's like, hey, I'm using musicians from all across the country, like this is sort of its special place. And then doing shows with him, it was like he was getting gigged all the time, and like all these bands were super supportive of each other, way different than in Nashville.
Yeah,
where
we're used to that.
Yeah, where everybody you're playing to is a better musician than you. Everybody just sort of like stands there and watches. There's no like feedback, and so playing with him, I was like, I kind of want to see what this looks like in a band format. And so talked to Chris and Alex at Roaster Record, and Christina said that her friend Doug was a drummer who wanted to play with the project. I'm like, cool, let's hang out. And then started jamming with him, and I was like, do you know any bass players or anything like that? And he was like, oh, I've got this buddy, Chris Shavi, that plays bass all around, and he'd love to do it. And my buddy Jason, that I had known through friends and stuff like that, like played guitar. And so I was like, okay, I think maybe we can get this together. So we've only played 2 shows so far, but
how do you feel about that? Are you having much more fun doing it with a band as opposed
yeah, it's awesome to see kind of like the energy of the music that was just recorded like in a live format, and like we've been getting some great feedback from people as far as shows we've played, and it seems like people are liking it so far. So it's been definitely exciting.
It definitely brings a different energy, like you're saying.
Oh yeah.
My daughter, she's a drummer, but she's a multi-instrumentalist, but she was a drummer in a band for years, and she left because she wanted to become a solo artist, like a folk singer.
Yeah.
And then it was like all of a sudden, before you know it, she's got a band.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see like all these people playing with each other, and like supporting each other, like touring together. It's like their local bands.
It's so fun to watch that.
Cool.
Yeah. Young Cassidy and Billy Jim is Dead. No,
I do.
They're doing they just ended their tour.
Yeah.
That was so fun. Young Cassidy was here. They were so excited. They were playing at a gas station in Texas.
Oh,
they were
amazing.
like, I can't wait to play that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Like Buc-ee's or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know if it was Buc-ee's. I don't think it was.
Okay, but Buc-ee's is huge, and I've seen people put on like parking lot shows and stuff.
Oh my God, I saw something because a lot of times I'll lay in bed and I just scroll through like the reels, like people that I don't even know, and someone was doing a concert like that, and a cop stopped him. He's like, "Sorry, you guys all drove out here for 30 seconds of a song, but I don't want to get arrested." Okay, so all right, you've got the 9 of the 10 songs mastered. Mm-hmm. What are we gonna see come from you? Like, are you gonna be doing a full album? And like, what's your favorite song on it? Like,
so it kind of, as I was writing songs, I realized that they all kind of had like a theme of, I don't know if you've seen Into the Wild.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
my favorite freaking movie.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah.
Are you not like bawling your eyes out, laying on the floor at the end of that?
Oh, it's
my
so
God.
sad.
Oh my
it's
God!
Like it's such like a beautiful story, and the ending is just kills me every time because it's like, I think as a kid you feel all these emotions and like you're feeling it as you're watching it, even as an adult, and so I realized like as I was writing the songs, I'm like, I think I could kind of tell the story of Into the Wild like through music form, from beginning to end. So, like, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do for a release. I thought about maybe kind of either like playing it in the background and like telling a story while it's playing, or whether doing a show and kind of talking about it. But it kind of goes through all of those. There's different scenes of like his journey, basically. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got like this really like pensive song kind of starting in the beginning, where I imagine kind of, you know, wandering around the room, like packing stuff up at night, like right after feeling like I'm not supposed to be doing like the path that's been laid out. Right. I need something different. And then there's another song that I imagine like as he's like driving up north, like just like hitting the gas and going. Right. And so it like kind of starts off as questioning, and then there's a guitar part that comes in that just sort of like the idea of hitting the gas and driving up with like the coast in your life. And
oh my God, that makes me so excited to listen to all this.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I can't wait, because that's, like I said, like to be able to put something together that would go with that, it's like, that's intense. Yeah. That's exciting. I can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, and it kind of follows the music idea of like playing with lots of bands and stuff like that, and being like a multi-instrumentalist up in Nashville, and then coming down here, which is kind of like a blank canvas. Right. It's kind of the same idea of like, I'm just gonna like try it and see what happens, and just kind of go with my gut for everything.
Just don't eat berries.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's definitely the key.
Okay, so what do you feel was the hardest song for you to write on that?
I would say there's a song called Switchback that I never really knew what it was going to be. Okay. I sort of had like kind of a chord progression, but I didn't know where it could go. And then the more I kind of listened back to it and like added more things, I realized that one of my buddies in Nashville, Tyler, could add some like pedal steel to it. Mm-hmm. And so like as you've got these sort of like electronic beat sounds and stuff like that, I just kind of went ham like as far as trying new things out, basically. So it was like on my bass, I really affected it with like a chorus and like a compressor thing, and like picked through it like I would on like, you know, fingerstyle on guitar, like folk stuff, and added like delay to it and stuff. And then he added this steel to it, and then sent me also, he plays omnichord, and so we sent that down, and so it just developed from this kind of swelling thing to when the chorus hits, it really like kicks in with the beat. And so went through a ton of different tones on guitar to figure out like what is this sound that I'm going for. And because it's just me, I don't have any sort of like feedback from other people. It's just kind of like, okay, I can do it this way or this way or this way, and then just trying things till I decide it's good to go. So hearing that pedal steel come back, it was like, okay, now it's coming together. Now I feel, now everything else can kind of fall into place. So, yeah. When
do you feel like everything's going to be completed and we're going to be able to see your soundtrack story here?
I think probably early to mid July, I would say. I'm definitely like excited to put it out there. I've been with bands that do all sorts of different things, whether they just sort of like drop an album and call it good, or whether they plan a full release show, release singles on the way. And so I've released 2 singles so far that I'm excited about, and I basically just bringing them all together and just kind of recording stuff. And when I feel like it's mixed, I'll bring kind of a batch of like 3 or 4 over to Raincat, and they'll work with those, and I'll kind of pick one of those songs as a single. So I did that. This is my 4th time going in there, and so, yeah.
Have any of your songs been inspired by your kids?
Definitely elements of them. I think since I grew up around music, I want my kids to be involved in it as well. And so whenever we're in the car, I'll talk to my son about like, okay, do you hear the bass in here? Do you hear the drums in here? And like try and get him to like associate different instruments with what they sound like. One of my favorite stories as a kid was Peter and the Wolf, where it's like this big orchestration, and like at the beginning, the narrator says like, okay, the fox is going to be represented by this instrument, and the hunter is going to be represented by this instrument. And so as you're hearing the different orchestration, you're imagining as a kid like all of the creatures walking along kind of thing in there. And so I definitely want him to be able to like be a part of it, and they actually were able to come to my show last week.
That's
and so
exciting.
Yeah, my daughter was able to dance around, and
she must have loved that.
It was amazing. It was cool, like being able to show, like, to let them be a part of what I'm doing, and let them see, like, oh, there's Dad playing music.
Yeah,
and it just means so much more when your kids are involved than like playing like this massive stage or anything like that. It's like having them see that is like huge.
Yeah, my daughter, well, obviously the 20-year-old, she's a musician, but my 10-year-old, she loves going to all the shows, and I have like all these, but she's going to be my problem child. Let me tell you, she's. You have to look through my Instagram videos. You'll find my daughter, my 10-year-old, crowd surfing, jumping on the stage.
That's amazing.
I'm like, oh, I'm in trouble. But she has a blast, man. She is out there.
That's so fun.
She's all by herself, like dancing. I'm like, who are you?
Yeah.
So funny. So cool. Yeah. I remember the first time it happened, I happened to take a break from the stage, and I walked over. I was talking with my husband. He introduced me to a guy that he had come to the show that he works with. And then I look up, I see my kid on stage. I'm like, what is going on?
Like, how did this happen? I walked away for 5 minutes. And
yeah, she apparently crowd surfed there.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
So funny. But, okay. So, the one thing that you said, which was like, it's super important, is how you said when you're driving and you're telling your son, this is like the bass and stuff, because like, I can't tell any of that at all. Like, and I appreciate, like, I can't sing, I can't play an instrument. I'm full on roadie.
Yeah.
But like, I'll be in the car with my daughter and I'll say something like, oh, this is such a nice song or whatever. But I'll make a comment about like how it doesn't have drums or a bass or something.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? That's the bass right there. I'm like, that's bass? Well, that's not that. And then, so it's like, I can't, so the way that you were taught, it's like, it's a good way. Like,
yeah.
That's because I never realized until she pointed it out to me that I really didn't understand what was happening within the song.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And that's like, it's fun to hear him get like excited about it. And now like he'll be able to reference it to me. Like when we're listening to a song, he'll be like, oh, you hear the drums, Dad?
So cute.
Or like he'll like be like, I'm going to play the drums, and he'll like air drum back there. Or like, I'm going to play guitar. And like, my daughter Emerson, he'll like point to her and be like, she's playing drums now, and she'll be like kind of like moving around and stuff.
Do you play drums also?
A little bit. So I grew up like I think I always kind of wanted to be involved with music. And my mom, I hated it when it was happening, because she said, all right, if you want to play any instrument, you have to take 3 years of piano lessons first. Like, and when I was doing it, I was like, Mom, I don't want to do piano lessons. I just want to play the drums. And so I took my 3 years of piano lessons, and like towards the end, I just stopped like practicing, just like hated every second of it. And then as soon as we hit that mark, I was like, all right, I want to take drum lessons now. Like time for a real instrument. And so like started taking drum lessons and like really enjoyed that, and then realized I couldn't really like play by myself if I was on drums.
Right.
And so my dad had introduced me to a lot of like funk bass kind of stuff growing up, and so I was like, okay, maybe I can learn the bass. So after I did drums for a little bit, I did the bass, and then in like playing in youth group and stuff like that, like I just decided like, okay, I played the bass, I played it long enough, like I kind of want to learn how to play guitar a little bit, and so learned guitar back in high school, and then got to Colorado when I was going to school and told no one that I played the bass. I was like, okay, I'm going to keep this a secret that I'm a bass player. Like, as soon as people get wind of the fact that I'm a bass player, like, that's all I'm going to be. And so,
exactly.
And so I was like, okay, I'm only a guitarist, and then ended up playing bass for one of my buddies that was out there inevitably. And then
that got out of the bag.
Yeah, exactly. And then went to Ohio, and it was the same thing. I was like, okay, I'm going to stick to it this time. I'm only going to play guitar. I'm only a guitarist. Like, no one's going to even know. And I stuck with that while I was there, and then one of my buddies got married, and they're like, Matt, do you happen to play bass? Like, we already have a guitarist. And so I was like, oh, yeah, I dabble a little bit. And then played it and just blew all my friends away because they're like, you didn't tell us you played bass? Like, there were so many other, like, bands and stuff you could have been in if you played bass. Like, we always thought you were a guitarist. I'm like, I know, but then once you play bass, you can't play guitar.
Right.
And then I tried it again when I got to Nashville, and then heard Nashville guitarists. I'm like, I think I'm a bass player again. Like, after I heard those guys going nuts, I was like, there's no way I can get closer on bass in Nashville, like in the in crowd or whatever, than I can on a guitar. So I'm just gonna stick with playing bass.
That's so funny. There. So when you play bass, do you use a pick? Or you do use a pick.
Yeah, I use a pick, and I think it's probably from playing bass first and then playing guitar.
Yeah. That
I feel like I kind of understand like the role that bass can play in kind of two different contexts of, I mean, there's times that I'll play on the Mango Salesman punky stuff on, with my fingers for like a slow part, and then switch over to a pick, and so I feel like I try and balance the best of both worlds. Like, whatever the song needs, like, if it needs a pick, like, let's do it. If it needs fingers, but I know back in the day when I was taking bass lessons and stuff like that, my bass teachers were like, you never use a pick. Like, it is improper to use a pick. And then, playing with other people, they're like, no, you have to use a pick. That's how you're going to poke through. And so I never knew what to do. So I kind of learned a little bit of both.
I remember when my daughter's old bassist showed up for the first rehearsal that they had together with a pick, and I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, exactly.
And I low-key made fun of him in my head every time I saw them play, but then I started seeing a lot more bass players use picks. I'm like, well, maybe I'm the wrong one.
Yeah, it's definitely a different style of playing bass for sure.
So now that you're a full band within one body, what is your favorite instrument to play?
Oh, that's a tough one. I really like them for different reasons.
Okay.
Like I've always been into really like dynamic music.
Okay.
So I love like the Coldplay X and Y album that like goes from soft to heavy and builds, and everything's like simple. That's how I got confident in playing like some kind of simple leads on electric guitar. I was like, okay, I don't have to shred like anybody. Like, I can just play these simple leads that kind of develop. And same with like U2 or Pink Floyd or something like that, where it's like, these guys aren't like ripping solos. They're just playing like the right notes, and they're playing appropriately. So I need to learn how to do that. So I like kind of like building texture on guitar. But then there's also times I just like to grind it out on some punk rock bass and like play as fast as possible and stuff like that. So there's definitely elements of each. I still sort of dabble in drums, but not like super regularly or anything like that. But it's mostly just guitar and bass, and I love them both for different reasons.
Okay. So moving from Nashville, do you think it was a good decision to move down here?
Yeah.
Musically? You're trying to become who you want now, pretty much, Yeah, I love the freedom that I get from playing music down here. I love the support system that's around. I was talking with a friend of mine kind of about the difference between Nashville and here. It's like you've got more quote unquote opportunities in Nashville, but like the support system just isn't there. Right. It's more of a competition.
It's a competition. There's no like loyalty among bands, but I think everybody kind of knows that going into it. Like I mean, you'll hear country music on Broadway in Nashville, and like there's actual like talent scouts from the country music records that are like, okay, this person clearly like likes playing other people's music, and so they'll be like, okay, this is our star, he's singing, and we want this guitar player from this band at this bar, and this bass player, and this drummer, and then they'll be like, okay, this new country artist being signed, and they're like, because they know these people are familiar with performance, they're like, we're not going to let you write your own songs. We've got like CMA winning writers that can write you like a whole album. Like, we're putting our money in these people, so you don't really have a choice. And so all the people that are playing with each other, like, they're enjoying what they're doing, but they're also like very focused on like, I could be scooped up at any point.
Yeah. But you're scooped up, but then you're not who you are anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's just very like individual in what they do, and there's no, I don't know. So like, yes, there's more opportunities, but they're different opportunities. So here, like, you have to drive a little ways to get to more venues. Like, there's not a whole lot of venues up in the Port St. Lucie. There are some, but like, you know, being able to drive down here and, you know, play shows in like Lake Worth or Vero.
Have you played over at Swampgrass Willie's yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, that's fun. It's
Where's that
dive bar. It's in Palm Beach Gardens.
Okay.
And so it's probably about at least an hour.
Yeah.
For you.
That's not bad.
But it's fun. They do their live bands on, I believe Saturday nights.
Okay.
They're hour sets, and it's like you put like a little showcase together. We met band up there when she had her band was playing up there. We met a band. They did my first podcast. We became instant friends.
Awesome.
And so it's a cool place to total dive. I mean, I think they still allow smoking inside. So,
of course.
but it's a fun place. Check that one out because it's not too far.
Yeah, I need to check out Swampgrass Willie's.
Swampgrass Willie's.
Because really, like, since I'm new, I don't know any of these like classic places and stuff like that. I've heard a lot about like Tough Times and Propaganda and stuff like that from a lot of people that have been around doing stuff. But like, I think the next show I'm playing with Mango Salesman is at like Pockets Billiards and something like that in Vero. So that's becoming like a new spot. And they just kind of revamped East Ocean Pub in Stewart, which used to be like the Distillery or something like that. And so it changed hands. Now they've got amazing sound. Like, they're starting to get people out there, starting to have a natural draw and all that.
Yeah, it's hard when you're new and not knowing, and especially in Port St. Lucie. I'm trying to like think. I'll definitely keep my eyes and ears open, but I mean,
it seems like down south or up north are the places.
And they're also they're becoming there's more that are opening, but COVID really killed a lot of the venues.
That's what it seems like. Like, from friends that are there, they've said that, you know, there used to be great venues around here. We see so many shows, and then like they just don't exist anymore. Yeah. It's all these kind of like newer places that are kind of becoming the new venues, I guess. A
lot of the bands, they resorted to house parties when COVID hit. So now like that's the thing. They like all still love to do house parties.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which is super cool because they meet different people and they're just like doing it to have fun and you know, but and I think they're even charging to get into these house parties. So they're becoming a little more legit and all that. Yeah. But okay, so overall within your career, what do you feel is the best decision that you've made so far?
I think just the idea of trying to kind of forge my own path with Nashville. Okay. I think I'm always kind of like keyed into things that are happening and trying to sort of make connections with people and stuff like that. And so, when I was in Ohio, I was in one band, and then in Nashville, I think I was playing in like 5 bands at once. At one point, like before kids, and like my wife was down here for I think around 10 months before we got married. And the idea was like, okay, you go to Nashville, like see if you can establish something music wise, and then once we get married, I'll move up there. And so those 10 months I was there by myself, it was just like, I'm going to try and play with anybody and everybody that needs somebody, like guitar, bass, whatever, try and get into studio stuff. And so I feel like the best decision was just to sort of like go with the wind, I guess. Not like, not try hard and making like, fake connections or anything like that, but really legitimately, buying into people's music and really giving it the musicality that it deserves. So I feel like going from like, okay, I'm going to really stick with this one band to like, I'm going to spread myself out a little bit. Definitely helped. It helped my music develop as far as different styles. It helped me learn how to play different styles of music and play more shows and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
Just so, since no one knows you really.
That's true.
We're going to get to know you.
Yep.
It's a segment called You Can Tell Mom Anything because I'm a mom. It's not cheesy or anything.
Oh, I like it. I was actually listening to the podcast on my way down here. I was like,
which one were you listening to?
I was listening. It was Ryan something or other.
Oh, Ryan Brazil.
Yeah, it was the one I was just on. And then I forget the name of the one. It started with an S that had like an exclamation point on the end of it.
Oh, Spine.
Yeah,
Spine.
they were like younger guys, weren't they?
Yeah, they were younger. They were the ones that sat in. If you saw the video, they're the ones that had the what is his name? Him sitting on the couch. Yeah. Those are kind of recent ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So outside of music, if you even have time at all, do you have a full-time job doing anything else? Or?
Yeah. I do the opposite of music. Essentially, I do Microsoft licensing. So it's all remote. It's a company in Chicago.
Right.
So I was doing that remote in Nashville, and then I just told them, "Hey, I'm moving to Florida." They're like, "Okay, cool. Bring your laptop."
Love those remote jobs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely another huge COVID thing.
One good thing.
No kidding. Is everyone could be remote. So yep, I do Microsoft licensing for fun.
So, out of all the places that you've lived, I'm sure you've visited other places too. What's your favorite place?
My favorite place, I think it was 2016. My wife and I went with another couple of a couple of friend of ours that we went to Switzerland, and it was beautiful. Like we were staying in an area called Interlaken, in like these they're basically like yurts.
Okay.
In there, and it was like a hostel technically.
Oh my God.
It was amazing because it was like before kids. Like we traveled with just our backpacks, only went on like trains and buses the whole time we were there. And
I mean, as cool as that sounds, did you watch Hostel before you went there?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was like, are we sure about this?
I think I would have 86 that. I would have sat on the bus bench.
Yeah.
That is so scary.
But yeah, it's absolutely beautiful there. I feel like I've never seen anything like it. I mean,
that's a trip of a lifetime.
Oh, it's incredible. Like seeing, taking like basically like a ski lift up to the top and having like lunch and a beer at the top and everything. Oh my God, that
sounds
just
so
like
cool.
looking over like the Alps. I don't think there's any place like it.
I would love to do something like that. I would love that.
It's incredible.
Yeah. My high hopes is just, we're going to Georgia and exciting life I'm living over here.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So if you could share a meal with 4 individuals, past, alive, dead, whatever, who would they be and why?
I would say I would love to share a meal with like Jack White. It's super interesting.
He's super talented.
Oh my goodness. I saw him at a Starbucks once in Nashville.
Did you?
Incredible. Like he was the nicest musician that I've ever seen.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
God, I would love to hear this.
Oh, it was amazing. So the place I worked at was across from the Starbucks in like kind of like a ritzier area of Nashville.
Okay.
So I was in there, and then I just heard like talking from like the other side. I'm like, that sounds all like Jack White. And I looked over there. Sure enough, it is.
The fact that you knew his voice like that.
Yeah, because I mean, he's got such a distinct, unique voice, and he was just talking with like the manager there, and like, hey man, we really got to have the kids over for a barbecue. Like, I'm thinking about doing it in a couple weeks. Are you free then? Like the fact that he was like super engaged with this manager of Starbucks, like he wasn't trying to like keep it only like celebrity search and like that. It was like
that's cool.
He just hanging out with this dude, and it was so refreshing to see that.
Right.
That I would love to just be able to like pick his brain about music stuff, and like his approach seems so unique to everything.
Right.
Really like any of the guys from It Might Get Loud would be
I don't think.
Oh my goodness, it's amazing. It's like a guitar documentary kind of thing, and so it's Jack White, The Edge, and Jimmy Page.
Okay.
All together, and they all
Wow.
they jam together, and they each talk about like their approach to guitar, and
That's interesting.
Super interesting.
I like it loud.
It might get loud.
It might get loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like it's cool that like they all bust out their pedal boards and guitars and amps, and they're playing together and then individually, and they talk about kind of their journey in music, and it's cool to see three very distinct style guitarists,
Right.
Talking about their approach and what makes them excited about music, what inspires them and stuff like that.
Right.
And that was a huge inspiration for me to try and kind of develop my own voice with music. So
Right.
honestly, I'd love to just have lunch with all three of them and,
Awesome.
to just kind of
Right.
continue the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look that up. That sounds super interesting.
Yeah, it's incredible.
What? How were you able to not say I'm available for the barbecue?
Oh, it was so hard. I think there's kind of an unknown rule in Nashville where you don't bother.
I get that.
You never see people out in public with sunglasses or anything like that. You'll see plenty of people out and about. Even Steven Tyler was at that same Starbucks
Really?
ordering something. To be honest, I thought he was a soccer mom because I just saw him from the back, and so he had different colored hair and the feathers and stuff like that, and
My God.
then I heard him talking again, very iconic voice,
Right.
and then he turns around. I'm like, oh my gosh, Steven Tyler, what in the world? And
That is so funny.
I was actually there on a date with my wife for a lunch date, and I was like, Rachel, look at that, and she saw it and she was like, oh my gosh, that's incredible,
That is so funny.
So yeah, that I'm assuming there's plenty of more people that came
sure.
from that exact Starbucks that were around the area that were regulars or whatnot.
Right.
So
Thinking there was a soccer mom there.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Okay. Well, you're married, but we'll just find out. Before you got married, were you more into brains or looks?
Definitely more into brains.
Okay.
I think I love talking and I love conversations.
Right.
That's how I feel I'm engaged with people is conversation, learning about somebody, learning new perspectives and hearing things. And so that's been what I've been attracted to always, is just kind of talking to someone, getting to know someone. If someone looks good but I can't talk to them, it's there's no
Right.
There's no point for me.
No.
I know that I've always been kind of serious in relationships, and so it's always been okay, what does this look like, when we're 80 years old in nursing?
Right.
Is this someone I want to hang out with? Is this someone I want to, go to Switzerland with? We're going to be on a long plane ride together. Can we actually hang out and enjoy each other's company?
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's okay. So what is the most unusual thing that you have ever eaten?
Let's see. I actually really enjoyed at escargot.
Oh, I love escargot.
It's so
Yes.
good.
So
I
good.
had some on a cruise ship,
Yeah.
and then on our same European trip, we were in France and had some as well. And our couple friend that was with us, when my wife and I ordered those, they were like, "I am not eating that." I'm like, "Are you sure it's delicious?" And just sure enough, scooped it out, and it was
So
amazing.
good.
So good.
So good.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would get it when I was on a cruise. I would get it for dessert. and
Oh.
everything. Yeah.
it's so tasty.
Okay. If you were on a deserted island, what 3 items would you bring?
So I've thought about this for a minute. I don't know if you've watched the show Alone at all.
I don't think I have.
Oh, it's kind of that idea of they leave people in the woods, and they can pick 11 items or something like
Okay.
that. And then basically whoever lasts the longest gets $100,000.
Oh, wow.
And so I would definitely bring you got to have a pocket knife for
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely.
I guess it kind of depends on the island too.
Right.
It'd be good to have some, I don't know, something to start a fire, and I don't know, maybe a tarp or something like that.
Okay, that's a good one.
Although, if you are on an island around here, being able to go fishing would be nice. So maybe some
Yeah.
maybe a fishing pole or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is hot as hell.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. It depends on the island.
Then again, you could jump in the water. So I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. So if you could join one music group, past, present, who would it be? Or what would it be? What is the correct way to say that?
I mean, if I could join Pink Floyd, that'd be incredible.
That would be awesome.
Like those guys, like the amount of styles that they go through is just absolutely incredible. Like Dark Side of the Moon is completely different from The Wall. Like to be able to like play that wide of a variety of music, I feel like would keep it going for forever. Like, I would just love to be a part of what they're doing and let everybody do their own thing and kind of jump in where there's extra space or whatever and just kind of be a part
bass player.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just like be a part of what they're doing and you know, just like the music that they make is just incredible.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to that. My dad was super into like prog rock stuff, and so he was into like Yes and Russ and Pink Floyd, and so hearing all those weird time signatures and all these weird bands, I don't know, I just sort of got used to it, I think. So,
yeah, I loved Pink Floyd growing up. Yeah, that's all right. So we're gonna move to rapid fire. Let's see if you can do this. I only have 2 bands of all the bands I've had that have ever accomplished this.
Oh man.
Right? Okay, you ready?
Yep.
What celebrity annoys you the most?
Kim Kardashian.
I was thinking to myself, oh, the Kardashians are on today. I gotta watch that.
Oh, no.
I said that earlier. Okay. If you could be any animal, what would it be and why?
Probably be a grizzly bear or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I love the outdoors. I love. I just think they're funny animals because they're super skittish, like more skittish than deer, but like, and they eat like berries and bugs and little fish, even though they're massive animals. So I think they're great.
Did you ever see the docuseries, the Grizzly Man?
Oh no, I didn't.
Oh my God, you gotta watch it.
Okay.
He is freaking wacko.
Yeah. Is that the one that like lived with grizzlies?
Yes.
Idiot.
And he talked like this, like, oh, like, it was like, and then he brought his girlfriend on the adventure with him.
Yeah.
Eventually ended up getting killed.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's only a matter of time.
Oh my God. He would just get dropped off there, like, but obviously his video crew was there, but he was killed when the crew wasn't there. But yeah, that's just,
of course,
unbelievable. You gotta watch it.
Okay, I'll need to check it out.
Okay. Morning or night?
My wife always says that I'm both.
Oh, okay.
I love getting up at 4 a.m. to go fishing.
Oh my God.
But I also find myself staying up super late, just, watching stuff on TV or making music late or hanging out with friends. And so I'm kind of both.
Right.
I use caffeine a lot to like, keep me going because I do that.
Yeah.
And my kids, of course, wake up at like 6 a.m. now. So
I have been so blessed with kids that slept.
Oh my gosh, lucky.
It was like at first, it was like the second night that I had my kid home from the hospital, my first kid, and it was like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, is she alive? What's wrong?
Exactly.
Like, what is going on here? And then my second kid was the same way. Like I would have to wait for them to wake up because you never wake a sleeping kid.
No.
And I would have to wait for them to wake up to start my day at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was the craziest thing. And obviously, there was a joke. My dad used to say, Mackenzie's going to have to go to night school because that kid's not going to wake up.
Yeah. I think that's one of the hardest parts about being a new parent. Like when you first bring your first child home and they're like sleeping, you're like constantly like, are they alive? Like they should be crying right now, but I also don't want to wake them up. Like I don't want to risk it. So
exactly. Like, are they okay? I don't know, but I don't want to wake them to find out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny. Okay. If you could get a yacht, what would you name it?
That's a good question. Because there are so many good names for yachts. Whenever I'm at like the harbor, I see, I'm like, that's a good one. That's a good one. I don't know. Maybe Ishmael from Moby Dick. And so, like, whenever anybody asks what you like, refer to the boat in first person, like, call me Ishmael.
That's so funny. Okay, Ishmael.
Yeah.
I had a friend named Ishmael. We called him Smiley, though.
Is
that like the English name for Ishmael?
It could be. Yeah.
I wonder if that's why.
There's so many like different versions of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do you think is the most overrated musician?
Overrated musician. Machine Gun Kelly.
Oh my God. That is my number one answer.
I hate it so much.
It's painful.
Especially all these kids that are like into like the old emo stuff now. They're like, hey, Machine Gun Kelly. I'm like, no. He's not in the same
what
circle.
he is. He's, oh my God,
No.
I can't.
It's terrible.
Oh, thank you. I have been waiting for someone to say Machine Gun Kelly. Everyone's like, oh, you kidding me? No. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Nope.
Okay. What is the best compliment that you have ever received?
The best compliment. I think it's kind of generic, but it's one that's happened a couple times. I think it's like when people come and see a show, no matter what band I'm playing with, and they say something like, I normally don't listen to this music, but I really like this music. I feel like that's a
great compliment.
Yeah, because it means that you did something to kind of like cross over, basically. Like, if it's somebody that normally listens to metal that is listening to Corvallis stuff, or somebody that normally like listens to hip hop that hears like an Americana project or something like that, it's like being able to cross over that way is great. And so whenever we're at a show and somebody says, like, I don't normally listen to this music, but I really liked what you were doing, or I don't know how to describe what this was, but it was good music.
Right.
Like, so yeah.
That is a really good compliment. That's the band I talked about that we met at Swampgrass Willie's. Mm-hmm. That's like, I mean, they're obviously younger than me, but it like watching them play, it brought me back straight to high school. I was like, oh my God, I love this band.
Yeah.
So it's like they've played every one of my events ever since, and it's, yeah.
Yeah. It's cool we can have that. That's like both like nostalgic as well as being, in the current time.
Yeah,
present,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. What is your favorite flower?
Favorite flower? I really am a big fan of like lilies, especially on like a pond. My dad is from Canada, and so we used to go up there every summer, and there was like a pond that you could like canoe in, that you would just be like brushing past all these like lily pads like on the top, and to see like a lily like right on the top there, like have a frog there. So I've never seen that in person. Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, that's cool.
And you can hear like the like soft scrape of the lilies as you're going through there on the canoe.
Right.
It's super relaxing.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
I've never been to Canada. My brother-in-law's from Canada, but he's a French Canadian.
Oh, one of those. Okay.
Yeah. One of those. We found out later, right? So my niece and my nephew, they're like whiter than me. Mm-hmm. Okay. And like super like strawberry blonde. Mm-hmm. And we found out that his grandfather, my brother-in-law's grandfather, was like some Indian chief up there. So they got, get this, Matt, for college, they got the Indian scholarship or something.
Oh, okay, gotcha. They're not Indian, they're white. They're redheads.
Just like, they have it in their blood, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
So funny, yeah. But I mean, he showed us pictures. I mean, he's full of feathers and everything.
Okay,
yeah. I didn't even know they had Indians in Canada.
Yeah.
But okay, so finally, if you had one message to give to your fans, what would it be?
I would say just keep exploring new things, keep doing what you're doing, stay true to yourself. I had a musician friend of mine tell me that when he makes music, he feels like he's on a train with like blinders on it. Just like, I'm determined to go this direction. I don't care if people on this side or this side think it's dumb. I think it's awesome. So I'm just going to keep going this direction and ignore and trust that that's the direction I'm supposed to be going. And so I've always wanted my music to be like collaborative. So finding other people that are going in like their distinct direction is always huge. So I think for me, I would tell anybody that's creating something just to keep going, no matter if you think it's good or bad, just keep doing it, because the world needs more art, and the world definitely needs more like authentic art.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I feel like after hearing your stories about Nashville picking their own little favorite people and then giving them songs, maybe it is the best route to stay indie. Yeah. And do what you want to do and be true to yourself. And
exactly. Yeah. Being able to forge your own path, to like not have anybody telling you what to do or not to do. Just be like, this is weird music and I love it. And I don't care if one person hears this. I don't care if 1,000 people hear it. Like, I just want to do what I want to do. And regardless of the outcome, regardless of how popular or not popular it is, I think the world needs more art, and it needs more people that are willing to take the risk of trying something new.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear your Into the Wild album. I'm just going to call it that. I'm just going to call it that, because if nobody's seen the movie, they have to see the movie so that they can
absolutely
put your music to it instead of the soundtrack for that. I mean, that's what we need to do. We need to replace the soundtrack with yours.
There you go. Yeah, although Eddie Vedder did a great
This is very true. Eddie Vedder is awesome.
I think it's I decided the name of the album is Unknown Territory.
Okay.
Because that's what Alexander Supertramp wrote in his diary. I think it was like right when he got to the bus, right before he got to the bus, something about like here I go into this unknown territory, or something like that.
Right.
So like that, I decided to name the album.
That's a good name for an album. Yeah. I'm excited to listen to it. We got to get you down here to play so that I can.
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
definitely. I mean, if you you had mentioned Tough Times, that's like totally spitting distance for me, and we gotta. Because I don't venture up to Port St. Lucie much unless I'm showing property. Yeah. My nephew lives up there, but I mean, maybe I will one night if you're playing. Maybe I'll.
Absolutely, yeah. I need to try and get some more shows down here. And again, I'm still learning like the different venues and stuff like that.
My problem is that when I go, I decide that I'm just gonna like drink all the alcohol they have at the bar, and then I can't get home. So being an hour and 45 minutes away, that could be tough.
Yeah, exactly.
But okay, so do you have any merch? Do you have any merch?
Not yet.
Not yet.
My drummer just got a screen printing setup.
Oh.
So I'm having my sister do some shirt designs, I think. And so we're just kind of waiting until we play a few more shows, and we're kind of pool all the money together to do some.
It's not cheap.
No, it's definitely not
cheap.
And he actually plays bass for a band called Libica.
Okay, I swear to God, I've heard of Libica.
Yeah, they're like another like instrumental like post rock stuff, and so that was my introduction to like this music being like okay down here.
Right.
And so when I heard their stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, these guys are amazing. Like, I need to get connected. And sure enough, like through the turn of events, like their bass player ended up playing drums for me.
Right.
So I was like, oh, cool.
That's awesome.
Connected, so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so hopefully you get stickers amongst that merch, and then
exactly,
you can get one to me because I started it late, but I wanted to put stickers on my fridge.
Yeah, I noticed that when I came up here. I was like, oh man, I should have made some stickers or something like that.
I'll get it. Yeah. I obviously started it very late, and not everybody has stickers. So, but okay, so do you have any final? Let everybody know where they can find you.
On Instagram,
wherever
under @_Corvallis, or on Spotify and Apple Music and iTunes and all that stuff.
And it's Corvallis.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly. So I'm gonna probably make an album announcement soon, but it'll probably be around early to mid July that the full album is released. So my sister's coming into town this weekend, so I'm gonna work with her on making some artwork and stuff. She's a super great like visual artist and stuff like that. So she's been working with me, and she's 10 years younger than me. So when you said your kids are 10 years apart, I know exactly like that dynamic. And
that's nice that you guys are close like that.
Yeah, it's cool because when I went to school, she was still like in elementary school and stuff when I was away at college. And then throughout the years, like we've kind of grown closer in what we do. Like she's super good at like a great like dancer for she moved up to New York City to to do like dance and choreography and stuff. And then as soon as she was starting to get her foot in the door, like COVID hit.
COVID, damn COVID.
Yeah, exactly. God. So now she makes videos for TikTok for like big like brands and stuff.
Oh wow!
And when she told me that, I'm like, how is that a job? Like, oh my God, that's incredible. Like, hang on to that. Like, I don't know how people get into that, but. So she's been trying to help me with TikTok, which I still don't understand.
Yeah,
at all.
Me neither. I'm too old for it. I have 2 videos on TikTok, and I didn't upload either of them.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, so I go and I watch those. That's
it's perfect.
But okay, so everybody go check out Corvallis _CORVALLIS.
Yep, that's it.
And we're gonna get you down in Broward. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.